You know what, my husband?
Shavua Tov, Erev Tov, and welcoming everyone for the amazing miracle story of this week. And I've just heard so many miracle stories that I don't know where to begin. But since there was one story that was prepared for tonight, I suppose I have to show respect to the story that was prepared. So we'll tell this story first. We're in the days of the counting of the Omer. And as we know, to commemorate the students, the 24,000 or the 12,000 pairs of students that perished in the plague in these days. So we have customs of mourning. One of the customs of mourning is not to arrange weddings, not to hold weddings during the counting of the Omer. But on the other hand, it is a mitzvah to go and to go into the process of matchmaking. In other words, to go into to put two people together in order for them to get married after the counting of the Omer. And since this is the case, we'll be hearing a miracle story with a marriage. There was a young man, a Baal Tshuva. His name is Yisrael, and when he did tshuva, he knew a young woman whose name is Netta, and this was the younger sister of someone that was in his class in high school. At the beginning, so these two, Netta and Yisrael, they were meeting each other in Yisrael's sister's home for Shabbat. They would come for the Shabbat meals, and they would sit, they would talk, but nevertheless, even though there began to be a connection of friendship between them, there was a very great gap or distance in their religious observance. Yisrael, as a Baal Tshuva, he was already observing the Torah and the mitzvot, and he was keeping a lifestyle of an observant Jew, but Netta was not there yet. Yisrael lived in Jerusalem, and he learned Torah all day, and Netta lived in Tel Aviv, and she was a student of art, of different arts. So it was like two different worlds when we're talking spiritually. But nevertheless, Israel wanted to get married very much, and he decided to make a meeting with Netta, and to ask her straightforward if she wants to get married or otherwise, and if not, so he would just disconnect the connection, and he would continue to look forward to find someone else to get married with. They got their meeting was on the bank of the Yarkon River in Tel Aviv, and surprisingly, Netta said to Yisrael, that she would like very much to continue and strengthen her observance of the mitzvot and to study more Torah. But she learned, even though she was just traditional, but she heard of the story of Leah and Rachel. Leah and Rachel, the two wives that became the two wives of Yaakov Avinu, our forefather, and she said that since she has an older sister who actually Israel knew because they learned together in the same class, so she felt that it would not be appropriate for her to go ahead and get married until she got married. and beforehand, she wouldn't think of getting married before her older sister. Well, when Yisrael heard this, so he felt that he was not in the position to sit and to wait without any date, without even knowing when, where, the older sister is going to get married, and therefore, with a great broken heart, he decided together with her that they are going to break off their contact. Yisrael went back home and he sat in his sister's home. He told his sister what happened, and his sister was, very compassionate. And he went to lie down because he was like totally exhausted physically and mentally. While he is lying down, he hears a scream of joy in the living room, and he does not understand what happened. And he went inside to the living room to see what is going on. And his sister tells Yisrael's sister tells Yisrael that due to these circumstances, she felt a responsibility toward her younger brother, since they were meeting in her home, and it was broken off, as he told her. So she went and wrote the Rebbe in the Igrot Kodesh while he was resting, lying down. And she received an amazing answer from the Rebbe. The answer is in volume 6 of the Igrot Kodesh. In the Hebrew volume, it's on page 105. You could probably look it up in the English volumes, the translations, in other words. But nevertheless, the Rebbe writes, I'll read in Hebrew, Benoam kibalti mechtavo. With great pleasure I received his letter. Ubetach kodem achatuna. And certainly you will see to it before the wedding, Yafrish hu ubat gilo tichye mimamona hi. That he and his future bride will designate money. And the money should be he from his money and her from her money. A certain amount for the expenses of the shidduch and the wedding of the older sister. And the Rebbe goes on in this letter and says that number one, he enumerates. Number one, they should put aside he and his future bride from her money and he from his money, an amount of a sum for the expenses of the shidduch and the chasana of the older sister. B, the Rebbe says, yivakshu mechila mi'ita, that they should ask forgiveness. In other words, that she should forgive them and ask an apology, that she forgives them and allows them to get married, the sister before her. And 3, that they should arrange their wedding, yasu chatsunosam bli pirsum yeser, without great publicity. V'yiten Hashem Yisborach, and Hashem, blessed be He, will give sheyiyeh binyanom binyan adiad, that their home should be an everlasting edifice, ad b'shah teva mutzlachas, in a good and auspicious time, al yesedei haTorah v'amitzvah, on the foundations of the Torah and the commandments of the Torah, umu'orim b'Torah Chasidus, as they are illuminated in the teachings of Hasidic philosophy. The sister told Yisrael that the reply was just so accurate to the situation of Netta and her older sister, that Yisrael, when he heard his sister tell the answer, he didn't think twice. he took the Igros Kodesh, the volume of Igros Kodesh, and he went directly to the apartment of Netta, and he showed Netta the reply of the Rebbe. And he, Yisrael, told Netta that he is ready to go to the very end with the Rebbe's reply, but it depends on what Netta will answer, what Netta will say. Netta gave it a very serious amount of thought, and she agreed. She agreed to go together with Yisrael and to do everything that the Rebbe enumerated in the letter. They showed up on the door of Netta's older sister, and the older sister, when she heard the story, she was exasperated because, she also was not that, she was a traditional, believing Jewish girl, but to see such things, mystical things in books and letters of rabbis, this was not something that she was used to. She was not common to these things, but she said that as far as the wedding is concerned, that she gives her full permission, and she forgives, and they have she acknowledged their apologies, and after 3 months from then, they got married, and they made a modest marriage on one of the mountains outside Yerushalayim. In the area of the mountains outside Yerushalayim, there are different places, and without even noticing between the connection of the date that they made up to have the wedding, to hold the wedding, and the date that was in the letter that they received from the Rebbe, the date was the exact same date, and by divine providence, they didn't even notice. But only afterwards, when they spoke about it and they looked inside, they noticed it was the same exact date that the Rebbe gave them their reply in the Igrot Kodesh. Today, by the way, Yisrael is he's an acting rabbi in one of the yeshivas that teach the teachings of Hasidic philosophy, the Hasidus, and the young married couple already has 7 children. Ken Yirbu, Ken Einahar. No, we see that during the Sfiras HaOmer, yeah, it's true, we cannot hold weddings, but we can arrange shidduchim and make sure that the weddings they are held a little later. But Bezrat Hashem, this story should lead us to the ultimate wedding between us, the congregation of Israel, Knesset Yisrael, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and the Holy One, blessed be He, in the Geula Shlema V'Amitis, in the true and the complete redemption, and it should be Techef Umiyad Mamesh, immediately now. Yechi Adonenu, Reinu V'Rabbeinu, HaMelech Ha'Moshiach, Chai V'Kayam L'Olam V'Ed. B'Seres Teves, Moshiach now. Oh, and obviously we want to remind everyone, since we are talking about the counting of the Omer, to remember, if you did not count tonight, so count the counting of the Omer tonight, and if you already have, if you don't see this until tomorrow, you can still make it up tomorrow without a blessing. Yechi Adonenu, Moreinu V'Rabbeinu, HaMelech HaMoshiach L'Olam V'Ed. Amen.